Oh, perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Should we start?
Yes, Prabhu. Sorry about that.
No problem. Thank you. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Manojavam Maruta Tulya Vegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varishtham Vatatmajam Vanarayutha Mukhyam Shri Ramadutam Shirasa Namam Pujantam Rama Rameti Maduram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavita Shakham Vande Valmiki Kokilam Apadam Apahartaram Dataram Sarvasampadam Lokabhiramam Shri Ramam Bhuyo Bhuyo Namamyam Dakshine Lakshmano Yasya Vame Cha Janakatmaja Purato Marutir Yasya Tam Vande Raghunandanam. We haven't met in a long time. I hope all of you had a good Kartika, either if you were in Yatra or if you were in absorption of the wonderful month, what it brings, what it can offer, and what we can offer during the month of Kartik. I had a very pleasant, satisfactory Kartika. I was missing all of your association. Part of it was to appreciate, maybe in a mustard seed size worth, the anticipation of Sri Ramachandra to meet Sita Devi. That all the three divisions of monkeys that went to east, north, west, all came back within a month with, I guess, news that they haven't seen Sita Devi. The monkeys that went to the southern quarter haven't returned yet. From Ramachandra, Lakshmana, Sugriva's side, they have no news. So they don't know if the monkeys are alive, if they have met Sita, they have not met Sita, what has happened to them, because they haven't returned in more than a month. So Sri Ramachandra is not only anxious, but in a very deep sense of separation from Sita Devi. And we will hear what that sense of separation looked like for others. In the Antya Leela of Chaitanya Charitamrita, we read Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's very deep sense of separation from Sri Krishna in the mood of Srimati Radharani. That he would be rolling on the floor, scratching the earth with his fingers, fingernails bleeding, his body going through transformations, every day running away, looking at the ocean, thinking it is Yamuna, and loudly calling for Krishna, almost, not almost, but a kind of transcendental madness. Sri Ramachandra is also going through such emotions. But we don't hear them just yet. We have to wait for Sundara Kanda to hear it. So I was very eager to get to Sundara Kanda. I am very eager. And who else to hear it from than Sri Hanumanji? And who else should be the receiver than Srimati Sita Devi. But for Hanumanji to get to speak to Sita Devi, he has to first reach Lanka. That Lanka is 100 yojanas, 800 miles away from where they are right now. They are at the southern tip of the land. And they have arrived there because of Sampati. And Sampati has told them that if you head to Lanka, you will find Sita. Okay, they know where to get there, but when they look at their map, there is no land that will take them there. And they are called Vanaras or Plavangamaha. Plavangama means one who goes from one place to another, skipping or jumping. How are they going to jump if there's no land? How are they going to hop over without land or no trees by which they can swing? So they are at this point looking at the ocean, this massive ocean. Up until the point, they had no idea how big the ocean might be. When Sampati said, I can look at Sita there in Lanka, all the monkeys were already celebrating. Oh yeah, we found her. Wow, fantastic. And then they arrive at this shore and they are completely dumbfounded when they gaze upon the massiveness of the ocean. Valmiki Muni says this ocean was so big that it looked like the sky. The sky is very vast. There is no beginning or an end. Similarly, the ocean feels like that because wherever you turn your gaze, however far to the horizon, is nothing but a massive water body. So Valmiki Muni calls the ocean a massive mirror because mirror is a reflection. It reflects the sky. Abhikramya tutam desham dadrushubhi bhima vikramaha kritsnam lokasya mahat pratibimbam ivastitam. The ocean is a mirror framed by land around it. And it's a reflection of what is there in the world. Because within an ocean lies an entire ecosystem of mountains or ridges, animals, living beings, plants, whole thing that we never get to see. There's a reflection, he says. Then these monkeys are standing at the northern shore of the southern ocean. So there's a little poetry on it. Dakshinasya samudrasya samasadya uttaram disham. Sama asadya. They have arrived together at the northern shore of the southern ocean. Sannivesham tutachakruhu sahita vanarottama. So they have made a camp there. They've gathered there, but they are completely out of their wits as how they are going to cross this mighty ocean. This ocean is full of mighty waves, deep trenches, the huge whales and other fish and fauna, and it is not something that they can cross. So they became very despondent. And they were almost losing hope that there is no way we can cross. So the goal, in one sense, seems achievable. And we all face situations like this in life. What we want is really not that far. But between here and there is a massive gap. We have absolutely no idea how we're going to get there. So when the monkeys are despondent, naturally, Angada, who's a leader, his job is to get them back to be motivated and enthusiastic. So he says, because they're in despair, Angada wants to put a new sense of zeal and spiritedness in them. So Angada looks at the entire ocean, gazes at it, and says, Na vishade manaha karyam vishado doshavattaraha, vishado hanti purushaha, balam krudra iva uragaha. We all know the word Vishada. We've heard it many, many, many times. Any devotee who begins bhakti first hears about this word Vishada, because the Bhagavad Gita begins with Arjuna Vishada Yoga. Vishada means despair or becoming despondent. So Angada is telling all the monkeys, Na Vishade Manaha Karyam, Vishado Dosha Vattaraha. He says, by becoming despondent or losing losing your heart to despair is itself detrimental, because that is a sense of defeat. Before getting anything done, before even putting one's effort, if one has a defeatist idea, oh, I won't be able to do it, then they will never get it done. There's an English phrase, I can't means I won't. So this idea of I can't is a sense of defeatist idea. Oh, I can't do it. And he says, Vishado dosha vattaraha. Dosha vattaraha means among all faults, Vishada is worse. Meaning I may have a fault, but the fact that I am defeatist in my view, it's worse than having the fault that will not let me get there. And he says, Vishado hanti purusham ba, that it completely destroys a person. Do we know Arjuna, the greatest warrior during that time, the greatest, looked at an army that he had previously defeated without any effort, suddenly became despondent. I can't do it. I can't fight this war, Krishna. And the Gandiva slipped from his hand. His skin started burning. His throat became dry. His tongue became parched. And he was crying. And he says, how does despair destroy a person? Balam krudra iva uragaha. Balam, like a snake that can sting a small baby, because a child is helpless. So this despair is like a venomous snake that takes away a helpless child, because the child feels helpless. Oh, I cannot do anything. That is true. The child really cannot do anything, because by this point, the despair has become as strong as a venomous snake. Then Angada says, Yo vishado prahaste vikrame samupasthite tejasa tasya hinasya purushartho na siddhyati. Any individual who becomes despondent or becomes a victim of despair can never succeed, cannot achieve what they are setting out to. Because within themselves, they lose all sense of vigor and vitality and strength and ability. So while Angada is speaking, it became nighttime. So obviously they couldn't get there, or they now, the reason nightfall is, if you have ever noticed, nighttime makes things even more difficult, because as sunlight goes away, visibility naturally goes away, and in darkness there is greater fear. So first of all, the ocean itself is fearful. At night time, it becomes even more fearful because of its mightiness or vastness. the Pacific Ocean is so big, for example, that one who comes to the shore of the Pacific Ocean, as much as people have fun to play in the water and all that, but the first reaction always is of fear of its vastness. So the whole night, the monkeys are clueless how they are going to get to Lanka. The night has almost passed. Tasyam ratriam vyatitayam angado vanare saha. Angada, with all the monkeys, spent the whole night pondering how they would get to that side. Hari Vridhe Samagamya Punar Mantram Amantrayat. So Vriddha here means the aged or the wiser. So Angada on the side had a little scrum meeting, I guess, something to get together quickly to decide what they want to do. So he's taking their advice. So this group of monkeys, so standing around Angada, they were in a circle and Angada was in the middle of it. And Angada was like Indra with all these other older, wiser monkeys as his ministers. They were shining like how Indra shines in the middle of all of his great counselors. So Valmiki gives us a hint. He says, Ko anyatam vanarim senam shaktah stambhayutum bhavet anyatra vali tanayam anyatra cha Hanuman. Anyatra cha Hanumatah. Who is there in the entire Vanara clan who can bring together all the monkeys to work as a team except for Angada or Hanumanji? Angada because he's the crown prince, his order stands. And Hanuman because he is the most intelligent, wise, experienced, and has a certain ability to bring them together as a team. To gather everyone is not easy because each person is there in that group or in any team. Putting teams together is not just bringing warm bodies. You have to select according to their skill, their capability, their personality, how well they can work on a team, etc. So there's a lot of research. People spend their careers designing and modeling teams. This class is not about that, but the word is team for today because something that I learned, I had not been aware before, but I heard it, I liked it, that the word team is an acronym called Together Everyone Achieves More, TEAM. So there might be fantastic individual stars, but no individual star can do what the team can do together. And so getting a team together such that everyone's strengths collectively can overcome everyone's weaknesses collectively takes a lot of skill. And that can be done by Angada or Hanuman. So Angada paid his respects to all these wise older monkeys. And he said, this massive ocean that is standing in front of us, we have to carry out Sugriva's order. We have to make his word come true. He promised Ramachandra that he will find Sita for him. So who is there amongst us who can cross over these 100 yojanas, 800 miles, and fulfill Sugriva's order? And who among us is a person who will be the instrument that we can all go back to our families, our wives, our children, the comfort of our home, which means if we don't succeed, we can't go back. But if we want to spend time with our families, we have to be successful at this. So who can do this for us? By who will be a person, who will be the monkey, who will be so kind enough to us that by becoming successful, we will get the mercy of Sri Ramachandra and Lakshmana and be saved from the anger of Sugriva. Is anyone there who's competent enough amongst us to jump there and avoid punishment from Sugriva? So in Angada's speech, all these elements are there. There is a future benefit. We can spend time with our families, go back to our wives. There is a higher benefit. We will get the mercy and grace of Sri Ramachandra and Lakshmana. There is also avoidance of punishment. Sugriva will become very, very upset. Then there is a sense of achievement. We will become successful at what we have been tasked with. Very, very motivating speech. I mean, as a leader, this is not a class on leadership. I'm trying to keep it strictly to Ramayana, but you get an idea that a leader who gives a speech must talk about what is going to go wrong if we don't get our team to succeed in what we have to do. But if you give a speech only about what is going to go wrong, instead of becoming inspired, a team will lose its morale. But they need to know. So then he has to talk about what is the reward. And he has to talk about the long term and perhaps the higher benefit, a sense of pride, a sense of accomplishment. So when I say pride, as soon as we are devotees, we're like, wow, I don't want pride. I'm already struggling with it. No more pride. This pride is like Prahlad when he was a little boy. Every time we would talk about something and we would say, oh, Prahlad, we're proud of you. His first question would be, good pride or bad pride? Because that is a distinction in his head. So there is good pride that I am a part of Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. I am proud that I am I'm part of Prabhupada's family. I am proud that I have an amazing spiritual master. I'm proud that I have great devotees as my friends and well-wishers. It's a sense of pride, not in my strength, but that they have accepted me, despite, the nice, dark, black, sticky, yucky, smelly heart that I may have. That's the pride that I'm part of that amazing family. So then when Angada asked, what do you think? No one said anything. Everyone was quiet because they were all dumbfounded. They had no solution. Then Angada said again, no, you're very, very powerful monkeys. We want to go back to our families. You're very celebrated for all your achievements previously. Please, anyone has any idea? Who do you think can jump across this ocean and cross this mighty ocean and help us navigate this massive hurdle? Everyone was sitting there thinking, and who was there? It's not some ordinary monkeys. Gaja, Gavaksha, Gavaya, Sharabha, Gandhamadana, Mainda, Dvivida, Sushena, Jambavan. So Gaja said, I can jump 10 yojanas. Gavaksha said, I can jump 20. Sharabha said, oh, I can do 30. Rishabha said, oh, I can do 40. Gandhamadana said, I can do 50. Mahinda said, I can jump 60 yojanas. Dvivida said, oh, no doubt I can cross over easily 70 yojanas. Shushena, who was best of the monkeys, said, 80 yojanas, no problem. I can do. Jambavan, who's the oldest of them all. How old is Jambavan? Very old. Very old means Jambavan is one of the first born in the entire universe. So this is the 28th Yuga cycle of Vaivasvata Manu. Ramachandra appeared in the 24th or 25th Yuga cycle of Vaivasvata Manu. And this Manu is the 7th Manu. So before him, 6 Manus were there. And we all know how long a Manvantara is. And Jambavan was there before Swayambhuva Manu and Shatarupa Bhuvan. And at that time, he was so strong. And his achievements, we're going to hear very soon. So Jambavan appreciated, oh, you're all very mighty, mighty monkeys, amazing. He says, there was a time when I could do mighty tasks. He says, Purvam asmakam api asit kaschit gati parakramaha te vayam vayasaha param anuprapta smaha sampratam. He says, when I was younger, I was a full-on maverick. I was so daredevil, I could do anything. But we're talking about the present. Okay, we need to accomplish this task for Sugriva and Ramachandra. It is impossible for us. When he says us, he means himself. Refined persons use first person plural. And he says, Sampratam kalam asmakam ya gatihi tam nibodhata navatim yojanam tu gamishyami na samshaya. He says, even at this age that I'm very, very old, even with that, no problem. Navatim yojanam tu gamishyami na samshaya. Without a doubt, I can jump up to 90 yojanas. I mean, just have an idea of how old Jambavan is, and yet he can jump 90 yojanas. And this Jambavan, who fought the entire war against Ravana's armies, much, much later, 4 yugas later, fights with Krishna for 27 days non-stop. That is the might of Jambavan. So he said, this is it. This is my limit. I cannot do more than this. He said, one day, there was a time when Lord Vamana, I can tell you what I had achieved previously. Now I can't do it. Maya Vairochane Yagye Prabhavishnu Sanatanaha Pradakshine Kritaha Purvam Kramamana Trivikramaha. He says, there was a time when Maya, by me, Vairochane Yagye, in the Yagya performed by Vairochana, that is the son of Virochana, Bali Maharaj. Prabhavishnu Sanatana. When the eternal, supreme, omnipresent Lord Vishnu had appeared there. Pradakshini Kriteha Purvam. I had circumambulated Vamana Deva when that Vamana became mighty and with one foot had covered the entire lower planetary systems, with the other foot had covered the entire upper planetary systems. His toe had pierced through the coverings of the ocean, coverings of the universe. Sa idanim aham vriddha plavena mandavikrama yavane sada asmin me balam apratimam param. Now I'm very old and weak, and I don't have the same vigor and strength that I had when I was young and strong, and I could go anywhere. So when Jambavan circumambulated Vamandev, which means Jambavan flew or jumped the entire circumference of the universe. That was his skill and strength. Then when Angada heard this, although he's a bear, he's included in part of the Vanara army, and he's referred to as Vanara here in general, but he's not a monkey. So Angada got inspired and said, I can jump 100 yojanas, but I'm not sure if I can come back. That I'm not sure. Aham etad gamishyami yojananam shatam mahat. Nivartena tu me shakti syat nava iti na nishchitam. Whether I can come back or not, whether I have the strength to come back or not, na nishchitam. There's no surety in it. Now, certain commentators tell us, what is it about Angada that if he can jump 100 yojanas there, that he can't come back? See, for all other monkeys, jumping less than 100 yojanas is useless because they would fall right into the ocean. And monkeys need solid ground to give them the thrust to fly back. So if they're in water, there's no thrust back. So it's futile. But Angada says, I can go. Then why is he saying, I'm not sure if I can come back? So this is the difference between Angada and Hanuman that our acharyas reveal for us. Angada is the representation of young, immature, perhaps overzealous, over-enthusiastic sadhaka. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur relates this to Utsahamai. That means they have a overestimation of their capacity, overestimation of their skill, and overestimation of anything that they can accomplish, when they themselves don't have the capacity. Angada, who is the leader, younger, stronger, they nivartate tume shakti syat nava iti na nishchitam is an indicator that Angada, if he lands in Lanka, which we're going to hear the description of Lanka in Sundara Kanda is mind-blowing, he may get attracted to what's there. And so he has to be careful. While Hanumanji, because he is pure, stronger, his senses are far more controlled, is not going to get attracted. He'll be like, wow. When he looks at Lanka, Hanumanji is wowed at the beauty of it, but not attracted to it. Angada possibly can. And so it's important for Angada, or at least being Valmiki is telling us, that not just skill, but purity is also required to accomplish a massive task. Of course, then as soon as we hear that, one may say, oh, well, I can't do anything because I'm not pure. Hanumanji will show us where the purity comes from, because that's the force, and how to access the sense of connection that will catapult him back to Sri Ramachandra. So Jambavan replied back to Angada, said, oh, Angada, I can understand your capacity to jump 100 yojanas, but I'm not sure you should be the one going there. In fact, maybe why 100 yojanas? You may be able to jump 100,000 yojanas. But this is not fit for you because you are the crown prince. Without you, there cannot be a kingdom. So you putting yourself at such risk is not a good idea. In fact, you should be able to, you as the leader should strategize how you'll accomplish this and make others do this for you. Although your leader is to be leading from the front, that doesn't mean you will go. No, it's not for you. You are our leader. So you need to be here and you need to protect all of us. So you need to find someone who can do this for you. Then Angada said, okay. While Jambavan is giving a speech because he is the oldest and wisest there, he says, for us, you Angada, Guruhu cha Guru Putraha cha Tvam, Hinah Kapi Sattamaha, Bhavantam Ashritya Vayam Samarthahi, Artha Sadhane. You are the son of Vali. So for us, you're as good as Vali. And in your shelter, we all are going to achieve this task. But if you are not there, like on a game, on a chess board, how many powerful warriors are there? Pretty much, except the pawns, others have great capacity to move all over the chessboard. The king only moves one step. But the entire game is to protect the king. You don't make the king vulnerable. So Jambavan is telling Angada, no, you cannot put yourself at such risk. So when Jambavan said this, Angada in one sentence said, Yadina aham gamishyami na anyo vanara pungavaha puna khalu idam asmabi karyam prayopaveshanam. Okay, Jambavan, if I cannot go, if none of us here can go, then the only way is to self-immolate ourselves and give up our lives here. Because I don't find any solution. There is nothing secure for us. I cannot go back to Kishkinda like this because Sugriva will definitely kill us. There's no way. So death here, death there. This is Arjuna Vishada that we are familiar with. This is Angada Vishada. I don't see any hope. I don't see any light at the end of any tunnel. So Sugriva is not forgiving. I cannot go back to Kishkinda like this. So since we can't jump, what is the solution? Then Jambavan looked at him and said, listen, Angada, our mission will never fail. Don't worry. I will motivate that one person who will be able to find Sita. So this is the word of great, when Angada as a leader himself is feeling despondent, Jambavan gives the words of motivating Angada and the entire team. He says, Tasyate virya karyasya na kinchit parihasyate. Your job will not fail. Esha sanchodayami edam yah karyam sadhaishyasi. I will go and inspire that one person who will be very successful at what we need to accomplish. Then Jambavan went towards Hanuman. And Hanuman, although part of this meeting, or supposedly, was sitting on the side all by himself, quietly. Tataha pratitam plavatam varishtam. Plavatam varishtam, the best of the jumping species, monkeys. Ekantam ashritya sukhopa vishtam. Ekantam, alone, quietly. Ashritya, he was sitting down. Sukhopa vishtam, he was happily, peacefully sitting all by himself. Sanchodayamasa hari praviro hari praviram hanumatam eva. So Jambavan went to speak to this wonderful Hanuman. So there are some meanings here. He says Hanuman was sitting comfortably. Sukho, Sukhopavishtam. Sukha upavishtam. Upavishtam means to sit. Because monkeys generally are very restless. This set of monkeys is even more restless because they have no solution of how to achieve what's on hand. So one may have a doubt, how can a monkey, who by nature is restless, being very comfortably, quietly seated? Because the answer is, while everyone is clamoring, Hanuman in his heart is envisioning what needs to be accomplished. You know, in Mahabharata, there is that beautiful story. Dronacharya called all the Kaurava and Pandava princes. He had a wooden parrot on a branch of a tree. And the idea was to hit the eye of that wooden parrot from afar. And Dronacharya asked everyone, what do you see? Oh, I see a tree, I see branches, I see a parrot. Oh, go away, you cannot shoot. Next one, what do you see? Oh, I see all the trees, I see this, I see that. So one after the other got disqualified. Arjuna was asked, do you see any trees? No. Do you see this particular tree? No. Do you see the branch? No. Do you see the parrot? No. What do you see? He says, I see the eye of the parrot, which means he is so laser focused on what needs to be achieved. So Hanumanji is quietly contemplating. So this is dhira. We hear the word dhira in Prabhupada's teachings again and again. Sober person. Sober means in the middle of either a very happy event or a very challenging event, their mind remains calm in a way that they can envision what needs to be done. So Hanuman is contemplating because on the one hand, or he has the ring given by Sri Ramachandra. So he has this idea, understands that there is this empowerment. Ramachandra has given the ring for finding Sita. Angad is asking all the monkeys to jump over. And somehow or the other, the monkeys are all saying, well, I can go. I'm not sure if I can come back. I'm not sure if I can jump that far. Because in some way, they have an idea that this is Ravana's kingdom. It takes a different kind of courage. Previously, a few chapters ago, when they left Kishkindha, you remember they were all yelling and shouting, I will fly into the sky, I will crash into Ravana's palace, I will finish Ravana, I'll finish all of his followers. I mean, they said all those things, but when the moment of truth appeared in front of them, they were not the same because they were boastful. Meaning there's an overestimation of what they can accomplish. And Hanuman doesn't have fear of Ravana because none of the other monkeys, of course Jambavan not included, none of the other monkeys have the confidence of what Ramachandra's empowerment can mean. Srila Rupa Goswami tells us that our bhakti is fostered by, nourished by Utsaha, Nishchayad and Dhairyat. So Utsaha has to be fueled by Dhairya and Nishchaya. If it is fueled by something else, it fizzles out at the moment of truth. Hanuman is different from the other monkeys. He's not afraid, he's confident, He's confident in Sri Ramachandra's strength and empowerment. He's confident in Lakshmana's strength and empowerment. All of these monkeys were confident in their own strength and abilities. Plus, Hanumanji has no fear of Ravana. But he's considering, how can we get there? And if nobody else volunteered, he may be the only one. So he's thinking, well, no one else has agreed to go. Is there a way I can go? But I'm not sure. He's deciding, this is the call of duty. I need to get there. He may not have the answer, but he knows, I need to be there in Lanka. How? All that I've got to figure out. So apparently there is a verse from the Skanda Purana that says, Nilo Angado Hanuman cha Jambavan atha Kesari. Samudra Tiram Agamya na Shekhu Spanditam Padam. Ravanasya Balam Gyatva Tire Nada Nadipatehe. They all came to the shore of the big ocean, Nadipate. And the ocean is called the husband of all the rivers. Samudra Tiram Agamya na Spanditam Padam. They were not inspired to make that jump. Why? Ravanasya Balam Gyatva. They were all afraid or aware of Ravana's strength and therefore afraid. So they didn't want to go. It's already 9:17. Should I continue a few more minutes or pause and see if there are some questions? Because now Jambavan's going to speak about Hanuman's birth and Hanuman's strength, and then Hanuman has to give his readiness speech. Maybe I should pause. Oh, someone said continue. Anyone else? Should we continue?
Yes, please, Prabhu.
I'm sorry, I got a little lost in the past time. I didn't even keep track of time. Okay, let's continue. If someone wants to leave at 9:30, I will not be hurt by that. You please do whatever life calls you to do. Then Jambavan went to Hanumanji and he said, Veera Vanara Lokasya Sarva Shastra Vidam Varaha Tushnim Ekantam Ashritya Hanuman Kimna Jalpasi. Oh, Veera, valiant Vanara, Lokasya Sarva Shastra Vidam Varaha. Among all of the persons in the world who know Shastra, you are the best. Varaha, better or best. Tushnim Ekantam. How come very calmly you're sitting all by yourself? Hanuman, Kimna Jalpasi, why are you not speaking anything? And he says, by your brilliance and strength, Hanuman Hari Rajasya Sugrivasya Samohiyasi Rama Lakshmana Yoho Api Tejasa Chabalena Cha. You are the only one in the entire army of Sugriva who has the strength and vigor equal to Rama and Lakshmana. And your strength is equal to the only one in the entire universe who has this kind of strength is Garuda, and you have strength equal to Garuda. Arishtanemi putroho vainateyo mahabalaha Garutman iva vikhyata uttam sarva pakshinam. He's the best among all birds. He's the son of Kashyapa, Arishtanemi, and he has the great name Vainateya because he's the son of Vinata. And he says, in my entire time, that means from the start of this day of Brahma, Bahusho hi maya drishta sagare sa mahabalaha bhujagan uddharanan pakshi mahavego mahayasha. So in my time, I have seen many, many great heroes. I have seen the great mighty Garuda flying across oceans and just picking up great reptiles from the ocean without any effort. That strength that's there in his wings, that much strength is in your arms. And you have no equal. I mean, Garuda's wings, how strong are they? It's not just because he's an eagle, but he carries Lord Vishnu on his back and flies. Lord Vishnu can be the heaviest. He is the heaviest. To carry that Vishnu and swiftly come to any devotee who is just leaving his breath or her breath, in that little small moment, he appears from the spiritual world carried on Garuda's wings. That is the speed and strength of his wings. Hanuman, it's in your arms. You have what no other being has. Balam, Buddhi, Teja, Sattvam, Vishishtam, very, very unique, special. Sarvabhuteshu kimatmanam na sajjase. So how come you are not said anything about jumping across? I know why you haven't said yet that you want to jump. So let me remind you. There used to be a great Apsara by the name Punjikasthala. Apsarasam Sreshtha Vikhyata Punjikasthala. She was the best among the Apsaras. That Punjikasthala was cursed to be born as Anjana. Anjana iti prakhyata patni Kesharino Harehe. She became Anjana, the wife of the king of monkeys, Keshari. In fact, Punjikasthala was so beautiful, skilled, and attractive that in the entire three worlds, in the entire universe, she was famous. She was the Miss Universe. And because she got cursed to take birth on Earth planet as Anjana, she also had the skill that she could change her form by her wish, whatever form she wanted. So then, this Punjikasthala became the daughter of a monkey called Kunjara. Kunjara actually in English, in Sanskrit, is an elephant. So Hari Kunjara, meaning a elephantine monkey. But Anjana took the form of a human being. So he's saying, Manushyam vigraham kritva rupam yauvanas shalinim vichitra malya abharana kadachit kshraumadharini. So she took on the form of a human being and put on these very fragrant, attractive garlands, jewelry. She was dressed in silk cloth, and her beauty was shining forth. Plus, she had a very, very attractive form. And once she was roaming around on the top of a mountain, and she looked like a flash of lightning in a cloud. And so when she was walking around like that, Vayudeva was very attracted to her. And Vayu, by his strength, moved her cloth away from her body so he can gaze at her beauty. And just catching a glimpse of all her physical features, Vayu became so attracted to her and he said, "Oh, Anjana Devi, I would like to have a child with you." And Anjana, who was first hesitant, later became convinced that there is a very divine plan in this. And actually, when demigods make such requests, it is very rare that someone will say no. In fact, they take it as a great honor. I mean, all of our Pandavas are born from divine personalities in the heaven. Indra, Vayu, Yamaraj, and the Ashwini Kumaras. Plus, the big divine plan was that Lord Vishnu had told all the Devatas that you take birth on planet Earth in the Vanara race. Now, how exactly was not told. So each person will appear by a certain method. And in this case, Vayu wanted to have Hanumanji through Anjana. Now, from a human perspective, it looks a little like that. But the Devas are not governed by such rules. Plus, Anjana, she was a little first hesitant, then she understood that there is a bigger plan here. Because Vayu assured her, he said, I will never dishonor you. Anjanaya vachaha shrutva marutaha pratyabhashataha. So Vayudev understood Anjana's hesitance and says, Natvam himsami shushroni ma bhute te manasoyi bhayam. I will not hurt your honor in any way. So the world will never say, oh, Hanumanji is Anjana's son. No, in fact, we all pray Anjana Nandanam Veeram, Janaki Shokanashanam, Kapishamakshahantaram, Vande Lanka Bhayankaram. We in fact glorify Hanuman as the son of Anjana by the name Anjaneya. So you will never in the universe will your name be taken in dishonor. So he says there is he didn't spell it out to her, but that there is a divine grand plan. And he says, I promise you that you will get a son who is the most intelligent in the universe. Mahasatvo Mahateja Mahabala Parakramaha Langhena Plavena Chaiva Bhavishyati Mayasmaha. He will be able to jump. Mahasatvo, he will be very, very brave. He'll be extremely dazzling, valorous, and can go from one place to another just freely without any hindrance, like me. So when Jambavan narrated this story to Hanumanji, and then he said, then you were a little boy, you saw the rising of the sun, and you looked at that sun and you thought it was a nice ripened fruit. You were hungry. And so it was very easy for you to say, oh, I want that fruit. And you just sprang up and jumped. And you had such strength that by a few hops, you were already getting close towards the sun. And easily 300 yojanas you went away without a problem. And as you get closer to the sun, the heat becomes so intense that everyone else will burn up, but you were not challenged by it. So when you were coming even closer and closer and closer, Indra became a little annoyed that how can a ordinary monkey, if great yogis cannot get here, how can an ordinary monkey get here? So he hurled his Vajra his thunderbolt at you. That thunderbolt hit your left cheekbone and hit you so hard that you fell with great speed and intensity down on a mountaintop and crashed on your right jaw. That's why both your jaws are distorted or broken, not distorted, broken, and therefore you got the name Hanumana. Mana means to break or distort or to crash, and Hanu is the jaw. So you have as a mark, like Lord Shiva has a mark by which, although on his great form, it looks ugly. By nature, it looks ugly, but actually has become his decoration. The dark coloring on his neck that stands out actually became an ornament for Lord Shiva, so he got the name Neelakantha or Kalakantha. Similarly, Hanuman being hit by Indra, although is a mark, became his glory that he, for the rest of eternity, is known by the word Hanuman. When Vayudev saw how you were hit, he became so angry that he decided that he's not going to circulate in the universe. We're all alive and breathing because when we exhale and inhale, air moves in and out. It's called prana, comes in and out. If it stops moving, we can't breathe. And if we can't breathe, we can't live. The entire universe started to suffocate. All the yogis especially, they live on air, literally. The other universes, the planets have to move, the seasons have to change. All over the universe, things happen because of air, and everybody was feeling suffocated. At that time, Lord Brahma came to appease Vayu. And he said, Lord Brahma said, oh, that astra that's named after me, Brahmastra, will never harm this boy. Indra became so pleased that he said that my thunderbolt will never hurt him again ever. So you're the great son of Keshari, coming in the lineage of Vayudeva himself. You're no less than Vayu. So you have no hurdles, you have absolutely no impediments. And now, Hanumanji, as far as all of us are concerned, we are as good as dead. Vayam adya gatah pranaha bhavan asmasu sampraptam. We're all lost hope. We're as good as dead. Only you can bring us back to life. Now you may think, Hanuman, why you're telling me to do? Why you can't do it? Tvikramo maya tata tat shaila vanakanana trisaptha kritva prithvi parikranta pradakshinam. It's not that I don't have strength or I did not have. When I was younger, during the time of Lord Vamana, I circumambulated the entire earth 21 times in one jump. Tri sapta kritvaha. But now, and Hanuman, when the churning of the milk ocean was going on, that pastime, I went and collected the different herbs that came from the churning of that milk ocean. But now I am aged. Sa idanim aham vriddha parihina parakramaha sampraptam kalam asmakam. A lot of time has passed in my body. So I don't have the same strength. But Hanuman, you can. Indeed, you are the only one who can do this right now. So get up, our lion-like Hanuman, and accomplish this task. Uttishta Harishardula. Uttishta, please stand up. Right? Arjuna was told by Krishna so many times. Uttishta, get up. Don't sit there. I cannot do this. Get up. And Hari is monkey. Shardula, tiger among the monkeys. Langhasya, Langhayasva, Maha Aranavam. Go and jump across this mighty ocean. Vad viryam drushtakama yam sarva vanara vahini. You're the only one who can. I'm sorry, I mixed two verses. Uttishta harishardula langhayasva maharnavam parahi sarva bhutanam Hanuman ya gatihi tavaha. You are the only one who has the speed and actually not the speed, the velocity by which you can accomplish this task. We're all dispirited. We don't have any capacity. Don't wait. Don't sit there. Go and get it done. When Hanuman heard this, as Jambavan is speaking these, you are the mighty, valorous Hanuman, the son of wind god, equal to Garuda. He's giving him this speech. Hanuman's body is becoming bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And as Hanuman's size was becoming so big, suddenly all the monkeys felt hope, as if it was new life air that had entered their bodies. And not only was their physical body nourished, but their subtle body, the mind that was completely despondent, started with some sense of hope. Hope then transformed into aspiration. Aspiration then transformed into conviction. And from conviction, they were assured that somehow they will be successful. And Hanuman is listening. And we want to hear what Hanuman said, which we will hear next time. So I'm going to pause here. This is the last chapter, I think, in Kishkindha Kanda. And Hanuman's words of readiness to jump across the ocean and fulfill that task of Ramachandra, where it is full of his own strength, no doubt, but the humility that actually is the one that carries that strength further. All right, I'm going to pause here and see if there are any questions, comments, thoughts, objections.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Oh,
I
you're such a fancy
She
backdrop.
has an objection.
I have a question. Prabhu, when you were speaking about Angad and him knowing that he can jump, but he may not be able to come back, I was just thinking about taking risks, and I was thinking of vulnerability. And it's one way to live our life is to avoid being vulnerable. And so, yeah, we avoid failure, but we also avoid knowing success. And I'm talking of in a devotional sense, about success in our endeavors and, in some way that can be pleasing. So I was wondering if you could share some thoughts on this balance between taking risks and being vulnerable and risking failure and, what you were sharing about Angad.
I'm trying to phrase my sentence, but so let's see. I may have to say 20 sentences to mean one thing, but let's see. It's not well phrased yet because a lot to say. There's a difference between a wise person and a foolish person, obviously. The wise know their strengths and know their limits. The foolish, or let's make it more, I guess, tongue-in-cheek. The wise definitely know their limits. The foolish only know what they think are their strengths. And both take risks. Right? Second, risk-taking, each person cannot be told, oh, you have to take so much risk. Each person has their own sense of risk-taking or risk averseness. And therefore, each person's trajectory, story will be very individual to them. Some people take great risks and some get great returns, some great failures. No two people's risk can be compared or said, oh, you need to take as much risk as them. Because each person makes their own story or history. Some people don't mind taking a risk and failing, because failure for them is a way to learn about themselves or the situation. And some people don't like to face failure at all because they take it as themselves, something about them. I heard something just a few days ago, not from a devotee. I was just reading something and I came across a person who became a famous actor, was talking about himself. And he said that something that his father had told him that stayed with him. And the way he said it, I guess the way his father said it, it really stayed with me. And is that he said the father told him that failure is an event, not a person. That when there is failure, we think, or a person might think of themselves as, I am a failure. When his father told him, it's only an event, it's not you. In that event, there was failure. But each person has their own idea of themselves, of failure, what others will think of me, what I think of myself, all of that. And failure has that feature in it. And each person has to figure out how they address, understand, and cope with the idea of failure. And accordingly, they take. Now, in this case, Angada saying, I'm not sure I'll come back, is our Acharya's commentary that Angada is young, perhaps frivolous, and not yet fully sense-controlled like Hanumanji. So he has the strength, but he doesn't have something else that also needs to go along. In leadership, something that one of the aspects that's given is that there are a person's leadership generally needs to be understood on two dimensions. One is called capability, the other is called character. Okay, capability means they have great skill, but they may not have the character of a leader. Some may have great character, they're genuinely good people, just are not able. But a leader needs both. In this case, Angada, great skill, just doesn't have the character yet. It's spelled out by the Acharya. He doesn't say it like that, but the idea that he can go, but he says, I'm not sure if I can come back. Because the razzle dazzle of Lanka is too much. So some people may say, oh, I want to preach here, I want to preach there, for example, or take on this and that, but they may not understand where that may drag them to, or how fast it may pull them down. So having a good assessment of oneself, one's strength and one's limitations, and having someone else tell us that this is your strength and this is where you be careful is important. And Angada is being honest that I'll go, but I'm not sure if I'll come back. And we will hear in the next chapter Hanuman's speech. Almost sounds bombastic, what he's going to say. Because we may have an idea that humility has to sound a particular way. We'll be very surprised. It sounds completely different when Hanuman speaks. But he has Jambavan's inspiration. He has Jambavan's, I guess, blessings. Jambavan is the main person who's catapulting Hanumanji here now. And that's the inspiration by which he goes and says, I have great strength in me that I want to use for serving Sri Ramachandra. Does that address what you were saying, Sri Radhika?
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dhanvat Pranam, all Krishna Prabhupada.
Oh, glories.
I was just appreciating that Angada, that he was so self-conscious about his strength and weakness. And it's often in our service also that we got some service, but then we have to do it. But we are not aware of the weakness and we keep doing it. But and we are not even aware that we have this weakness and the subtle weakness in the bottom of the heart. And I was appreciating that how we understand that, hey, even he was strong enough to go there, and how Jambavan adjusts the situation that, oh, you're a king, so we need you over here, and better you don't go. I was just appreciating that how self-conscious the devotees are, and how it is important to be for me at least, to be a self-conscious, because I'm traveling alone every time in the van, and I don't know what my weaknesses are. And I shared you last week something. So I was just trying to be appreciative at this point, that how it's very important to be self-conscious.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Just let me add another dimension. That does not mean that Angada cannot serve. Okay, generally people think because I have this weakness or in this way I can't do, therefore I should not do any service. Angada is being asked to serve in an area that is his strength. For inspiring, being the voice of, that is his strength. So this is what the idea of team is. Each person has their strength. Jambavan, the strongest, the wisest, has great stars and medals, but he's picking Hanumanji, that you are the one who needs to accomplish this task. Jambavan's position on the team is he's very wise, intelligent, experienced, and is inspiring Hanumanji. He's also inspiring Angada to continue leading the group. The team is not, I will do it. I'm the one who's going to accomplish it. The idea of team is that the mission is accomplished. Who accomplishes is not that that important, or that I accomplish is not that important, that we accomplish together. So the language of a team is not I, it is we. And therefore Jambavan's entire speech is in first person plural, we, although he's talking about himself. It's also a sign of humility. But it's all about we, not me. And that's how a team gets together and accomplishes great things. If each person knows how best they fit into that team, and there's sort of a captain that guides the team forward or takes the team forward.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anything else? Okay.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Oh,
Sorry. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. I just have one question, Prabhu. So, so you mentioned how wise people, they know both their strengths and weaknesses, right? So is there a way to, what is the conscious way to practically implement this and know more about ourselves? So apart from the sadhana and all that, so where does this fit in, and how to implement it in everyday life? So do you have any tips on that to share, Prabhu?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, each one of us has certain skill, a certain talent and art, certain ability. Some people are very good at thinking big picture. Some people are very good at implementing something. Some people are very physically strong. Some people are mentally strong. Some are intellectually strong. Some are gifted in singing, in art. Some are gifted in cooking. Each person has their own strength. Some people are good at understanding something. Some people are good at explaining something. Some people are good at languages. Some people are whatever. Each one of us has something. And the statement, I have nothing, is not a true statement. Unless we all repeat Bhaktivinoda Thakur's statement, Yogyata vichare kichu nahi mori. Kichu nahi more. That's Bhaktivinoda Thakur saying that from a sense of arrogance. That same Bhaktivinoda Thakur wrote more than 80 books and did fantastic things. So the idea is these are Krishna's abilities or Sri Ramachandra's abilities, that a tiny fraction is there in me. It's their grace upon me. Or Srimati Radharani or Sita Devi is shining that ability in me. And how can I serve them? So it's not bombastic or arrogant to say, this is my strength. Because we think humility is to say, this is my weakness. We focus a lot perhaps on our weaknesses or shortcomings or limitation, nothing wrong, but that's not our focus. Humility also means to say, that is my strength, this is not my strength. But that something needs to be accomplished. So how can I contribute towards that accomplishment? In the spirit of Sankirtan, everybody doesn't have to stand up on a stage and give a fantastic speech. I mean, great if we can. But some people can make excellent artwork or graphic designing or write a speech. They may not be able to speak it, but they can great ideas to speak it. They can create something, they can organize people, they can cook for it, they can bring people, they can follow up. So, I mean, so many things people can do. So there is called finding that inner voice. What is it that I know that Krishna has given me, Sri Ramachandra has given me, that I can use? It doesn't have to be popular, it doesn't have to be shining, visible, it doesn't have to be. But it's there. Find that, use that. Find that and find others who complement your strengths and take it from there. Make teams. Work with someone.
Thank you, Prabhu.
I'll give you an example as a visual if it helps. When there is a war, okay, and two countries or two armies are fighting. Yes, there are the Air Force people are flying the F-16s or planes, right? All the Tom Cruises or all the fancy maneuvers. But are they only the pilots fighting the war? What about the guys who are on the ship from where the planes take off and the guys who are making sure that there is enough air pressure in the tire? What about the guys who are fueling the plane? What about the cook who's sitting in the ship, in that vessel down in somewhere 4 or 6 floors below, who's cooking meals for all the soldiers? Are they not participating in the war? They are. Because each person in their consciousness is very clear. I'm fighting this war and I'm contributing to this war. But this is how I'm contributing. Otherwise, everyone should be pilots and nobody has to eat, no one has to check the fuel, no one has to check the tires. The planes will fly on their own. It never happens like that.
Thank you, Prabhu. It was very helpful, especially like when you mentioned this last example. It reminds me of how the squirrels helped build the bridge during. Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you. The hour became almost an hour and a half. Whew. All right, we should stop here, right? Thank you. I'm sorry I took much longer than I had intended. What happens when you don't meet? Plus, I got carried away in the narration of it. But thank you very much for joining me. I hope the spirit of a team, the spirit of this great personality, Hanumanji, who's going to be the hero of Sundara Kanda, complete that he and his personality, his form, his strength, his qualities, his amazing devotion completely permeates our entire consciousness, our daily activities in our service and our own life. May that happen for all of us. May his unlimited grace descend into our hearts. Thank you. Shri Shri Hanuman Ji ki Jai, Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.